Friday. It is what? April 3rd. Good morning, good morning. So hopefully we'll get some people joining here in just a second. Hey, good morning. Happy Friday. Wait for Julie to hop on. Hope everybody's having a good day today. Hopefully you got some sunshine where you're at. Hey, good morning. Yes, happy Friday.
Hey guys, how are ya? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. You're cutting up just a tiny bit, but I think I can hear you.
Awesome. Okay, sorry about that.
Yes, I'm glad it's sunny here. We got outside for a little bit yesterday, which was nice.
Yes, we need some sun. We're like cloudy and dismal here. I'm in my bedroom, and so it's very not looking good. They're gonna have some sort of rain or something happening.
Yeah.
How are you? Can you guys hear me pretty well? Everybody can hear me, and Tiffany?
Yeah. Should be able to. Yeah.
Hopefully, I take everybody off the internet, so I should have a strong signal. I'm on the
nobody can do anything until it's done.
No one breathe near the Wi-Fi or do anything or look at it funny. Hey guys, it's Julie Walls with the Flip and Shift, and above me is Tiffany Spencer. She's my partner in crime with the Flip and Shift. Okay, you guys, as you know, we have multiple social media platforms to pick from as far as accessing all of our information. So we do our lives on Fridays at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, usually unless we have a live expert coming on. And we're going to give you guys a schedule on that. Our other platforms that we're on, so we're on Instagram. We're also on Facebook. We have a Facebook page. And so everything's under the Flip and Shift. So Flip, up in the left-hand corner, you can see our handle. So it'll be under the Flip and Shift on Facebook group, as well as we also have a Facebook page. And we'll post a lot of our information on both places. We also have a YouTube channel that we post all of our videos that we do every week. And we also have additional tutorial type videos, kind of giving you a little bit more extra stuff to chew on. We have a Twitter account, and we also have a LinkedIn account. So you guys, please connect with us. We have a lot of social media platforms for you guys to connect with us on.
We're growing.
Oh, sorry?
I said we're growing.
We're growing. But one thing we would love for you guys to do, for all of our followers and our viewers, if you like what we're doing here and what we're sharing and what we're providing you guys, please share it, or send it to somebody else that may need some of this work. So and if they're not on Instagram, you can find us on Facebook. We're all over the place right now. So okay, one thing I want to tell you guys, kind of give you a breakdown, is the schedule coming up for the month of April, May, and June. We have a practitioner lineup, and you're not going to want to miss it, all right? So next week, we have Mark Shahada that's going to be coming on April 9th at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. And we're going to post all this information on all of our platforms. So you won't have to remember all this information. We're going to really shove it in front of your face. So he's coming on next week, and he's blessed us with 2 episodes. All right, so he's coming on April 9th, and he's going to talk a little bit about, what he does and the tapping process. And Tiff, can you help me fill it in here for a second?
Yeah, so he's going to, that's okay. He is actually going to work with us on the tapping process. What is faster EFT? What is Utaptics? Again, faster EFT kind of morphed into Utaptics. So he's going to give his perspective on that, and also how to tap. What is that? Yes. So that's kind of the next phase of where we're at in this process before we get to the shift work. So this is kind of the tail end of that flip piece of Flip and Shift. Yep. So he's going to come on and talk about that. You guys, you got an hour with him. So ask questions. You want to make sure that you get this, because again, this is your chance to get in front of a live practitioner and ask questions instead of having to schedule an appointment. So again, we're giving this away for free. So this is huge. Then he's going to join us on April 16th at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. And he's going to talk about the higher level thinking law of attraction principles. So again,
into the shift work.
which will lead us into the shift work.
Right.
But it also kind of dovetails off of us doing our law of intention visualizations. So it's a great mix. So very blessed that he's there to do that for us. And then on April 24th, we have Tammy Magnuson. Tammy's going to come on. It's 9 a.m. Central Standard Time.
So
and again, this will all, it's still Friday. And she's going to talk about the relationship with kids and parents and the conversations that we have with kids and how that impacts them. To stop kind of that generational pattern. Just because our parents did it to us doesn't mean we have to do it to our kids. And what does that look like? Tammy is well versed with dealing with kids. She does a lot of it. So that's going to be huge, especially right now when we have our kids home. How are we talking?
Yeah. I mean, I heard my husband the other day kind of yell at the kids and say, "What's wrong with you?" And I said, "Don't say that." I'm like, you don't want to say that to the kids. So it's really good for parents to get into that awareness state of how are we talking to our children? Because remember, guys, they're in concrete thinking. They're not thinking abstractly from 13 below. So we have to be mindful on the words that we say to them. So sorry.
And we had the same situation in our home. My 6-year-old got sick the other night at 2:00 in the morning. She ate a little too much sausage, which she's not a huge meat eater, but she ate a little too much sausage and ended up getting sick all over our carpet. And so my husband's like, "Oh, it was probably the sausage that did it." I'm like, "Shut up." He's like, "Why?" And I was like, "Because I don't want her to associate every time that she's going to eat food like that she's going to get sick. So nip it in the bud." So it's just being consciously aware of the things that we are saying to our children and how that can impact them later on.
Right.
And then we have Lolita Mahaney. And Lolita is out of Tasmania, Australia. So our times will shift a little bit with her. Yep. So it will be on a Thursday night at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. Yep. Which will be her Friday morning in Australia. So, but Lolita's going to come on, and we also are blessed with her for 2 sessions. Right. We get her. It is April 30th. And she's going to talk about chronic illness. Her herself has been recovered from chronic illness doing this work. Yeah. So
she's amazing, guys. Amazing.
She does a lot. So, and she does a lot from like the womb forward. So it's like before you were actually born, what situation were you born into? So she does a lot of that stuff. Right. And then we also have her back on May 7th at the same time, 5 p.m. on a Thursday, Central Standard Time. And she's going to talk about food sensitivity and how you can start to work through that. A lot of that, guys, is sandwiching your techniques and exposure therapy. And it's visualization. So all the things that we talked about, visualizing yourself going and buying the food that you want to eat. Visualize it. Don't actually do it, but visualize it. Right. And then starting to inch your way through the process of actually then getting to a point where you can just put the food in your mouth and spit it out. Doing some incremental training type techniques. Absolutely. Absolutely. So that's going to be huge. So again, we have a lot of viewers that have food sensitivity issues. And then we have Beth Kendall coming on May 15th. And Beth is going to talk about reconditioning yourself for sleep. So that's, clients that have insomnia issues, sleep issues of any kind. Right. Kind of reconditioning your thought process around that, because we have a lot of people right now that are having insomnia because of stress. And how can we best retrain ourselves around that? And then do we have another one after that? Yeah, we have Laura Cowan. Laura Cowan is on June 5th at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. And she's a lot about empowerment. So she does a lot with people that are in the workplace or you want to become more financially independent. And also looking at how you value yourself. So her topic is overcoming being undervalued, which a lot of us can relate to. I mean, as mothers being at home, how often have I said, my gosh, I'm doing all this for free. I'm so undervalued. She can relate. It's relatable to anyone and any person in any facet. So she's coming on June 5th. So that's a little bit further out at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. Yeah. And so these are just the lineups that we have right now, guys. I mean, this is huge. So that's 5 practitioners that we have right now that you get in front of for free. Yeah. Scheduled. Already on the books. Already on the books. More to come.
So we're working that angle as well.
So yeah, so take advantage of that. Come with your questions. Again, we're going to be in your face saying, hey, and if you know people that could use this information, please share the flip and shift so you can get on there, so you can ask those questions, guys. Everybody, there's no reason why we shouldn't have more people on our lives. Because right now, what else do you have to do? You know, we're all quarantined, we're all at home. So what do we have to do right now? We have to better ourselves, right? We have time to do that. Make it a priority.
Right.
That is huge right now, because you know what? There's going to be a whole nother subset of people coming out of this quarantine that are going to have a lot of issues, okay? Let's just face it. They may not be able to go back to the same job. Maybe their kids are looking at things differently. They're under a lot of stress right now. Maybe you're under a lot of stress right now. There's going to be some PTSD type stuff happening after this. Let's just, there's
my husband was
insomnia.
up at 3 a.m. the other night, you know, worried about work stuff. So it's happening with a lot of people, business owners, people that are losing their jobs, trying to, you know, figure out what they need to do next. So this is applicable to anyone.
So there's no reason. There's no reason why we don't have enough people that are coming on to watch these things. I'm just going to be very honest with you, because it is free. There's no reason why you can't do it, other than just letting it blow by the wayside, hoping it's going to fix itself. This is the time to start taking charge.
Keep in mind, guys, we're going to be recording the conversation or the episode with the live expert. So not only will it be replayed for 24 hours on Instagram, so those Instagrammers can watch it for 24 hours, but, you know, get on Facebook. If you want to kind of go back and listen again, we'll upload the video up to Facebook group, Facebook page, onto YouTube, you know, those platforms that, you know, you have video access. So it's not gone forever. However, if you want to get your questions in, you know, you have something that's, you know, really pulling at you, get on the live, because he or she is going to be answering your questions. Okay, you guys, I want to jump into the next thing, which is the recap. So the recap's important, and we also have another, you know, opportunity that we want to share. But last week we talked a little bit about journaling, and this is the opportunity I want to remind you guys of. For those of you that signed up for the awareness workshop, which is our journaling workshop, it's coming up. Woohoo! It's coming up. We can't wait to see you all. For those that are on here that signed up, we can't wait to see you guys on Sunday at 2 p.m. and Monday, so 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then again so if you sign up on Sunday, we'll see you on Sunday. If not, we'll see you on Monday the next day at the same time. So 2 p.m. Central Standard Time on Monday. So the 5th and the 6th.
Yes.
And you guys will learn a lot about, you know, you're going to come prepared. Remember, we gave you guys all those prompts about getting your journaling in. So please get those submitted to Tiffany. She sent you guys a reminder email. And then once you have all that journaled out, we're going to start breaking it out. All right. We're going to start looking at all the emotions. We talked about that last week. Limiting beliefs, others' beliefs, some traumas, if there's any traumas connected to it, or any symptoms, some symptomology. All right. So we're going to help you guys break that out in our first journaling workshop, which we call it the awareness phase. So getting into the awareness phase. Now, keep in mind, guys, this isn't going to be our only workshop. We already have a waiting list. And so we obviously know there's a need there. So we're trying to figure out the next date for the next awareness workshop. All right. And then after the journaling workshop, we're going to reassess, because we need to take it a next step further. So we're going to open it up to another workshop that follows the awareness state. So we're getting in the awareness state. And we talked about that last week on our live on Friday. And now we're going to go into more of the awakening state, recognizing you have some deeply rooted traumas or memory recall that's connected to your limiting beliefs, some of your emotions, and even some of your symptomology. So we're going to take it from the journaling workshop, the awareness workshop, into the next phase, which will be the awakening workshop. So stay tuned for that, guys. We'll let the people that are going to be in our journaling workshop, we'll let them know that that's coming. All right, that's the next step. So we also talked about, so we did a lot with looking at pulling our limiting belief statements. Tiffany did a fantastic job breaking down what is a limiting belief statement. It's always connected to an emotion. and there's usually a trigger associated with it, okay? And she talked about the bubble mapping, how to start bubble mapping with the 5 senses. We discussed how to formulate your core happy memories, and we talked a little bit about taking our lower level thinking and switching it to higher level thinking. And there's some examples of the wheel charts that we posted on our Instagram and our Facebook pages.
Yep.
So go back there on the struggle bus, trying to figure out how to flip your lower level thinking to higher level thinking. We've got plenty examples to choose from. And then, so this week, we're going to start working into the awareness state, okay, in the back end of the flipping process. So there's two big, we've got the flipping piece, and we've got a set of processes throughout that, and then we have the back end, which is the shifting. So we're rapidly getting to the end of the flipping process. We're getting you excited to go in and reprogram your, you know, deepest, rootest trauma memories, okay? So the one thing that we're starting to do now is, so we want to prepare you for the reprogramming. So we talked a little bit about the flipping from the lower level to the higher level thinking. And you can, again, like I said, go to our wheel charts on IG. And we talked a little bit about diffracting or distracting. All right, so diffracting is, so remember this, guys, and we posted this on IG and Facebook. If you're going to diffract, it's just think of it as distracting your brain. Your brain is throwing a temper tantrum, all right? What do you do when your 2-year-old, 3-year-old, or even your puppy's acting up? Whatever you have. You have to distract them, right?
Mm-hmm.
We call it shoving the pacifier in the mouth, don't we, Tim?
Put the passy in the mouth.
Right. And so we like to have a distracting toolkit, all right? You need that on hand. Tiffany and I couldn't survive without it. We needed our distracting toolkit. And we gave you guys plenty of examples to choose from. Tiffany loves music. I love music. That's a distractor, right? So you're waking up, you're perpetual thinking, you're in that lower level thinking state, right? Your brain is just on that hamster wheel. We want to get you out of that, right? So there's things that we do to distract ourselves. So there's the ABC game we talked about. There is the color games that we talked about. Tiffany talked about the cue words, right?
Cue control words.
Cue control words.
Video games. We
tapping.
talked about, tapping. We talked about, those DNRSers that are on here. Your whole stop. My brain is a defract. Let's just face it is a defract.
It's a defract.
So
it's not a deep dive, guys. It's just distracting your brain.
It's just distracting your brain. So again, what we're doing is trying to stop that HPA access chain from conditioning itself. So when you're distracting, what you're doing is telling your brain, hey, I don't want to do this right now. I don't need to live in the past. I need to be present. So that means I need to be doing something present instead of staying in that hypnotic state. Okay, because when you go through this, what you're doing is you're trying to defract it, you're trying to distract it. Okay, I don't want to live back here in the past. I don't want to be triggered. I want to be present. And that's what we're trying to do with those tools, is make you present. That can be happy memories. If you guys have happy memories, again, remember, go through those happy memories.
Yes.
Write them down. We taught you how to bubble map happy memories out. If you have an emotion, you had to have a memory attached to it. You can't just say, I'm happy. There has to be a depiction in your mind of what happy is. You can't just say I'm happy without any meaning. So remember, you had to have it somewhere. So start just kind of bubble mapping that out. There's plenty of ways that you can do this. You can have, if you like math, do a math problem. If you like to read, pick a book.
I used to count backwards.
There's all kinds of stuff you can do.
Yeah, by threes, I would start with threes, and then I'd go to fives, and then I'd go to tens. And then I'd reassess, okay, how do I feel? I would check, how am I feeling right now? And then if I didn't feel like I'm distracted enough, I'd go back through it all over again. Until eventually I was like, all right, let's move on, right?
And you can do this anywhere, guys. It doesn't matter. Again, remember I showed you even on my phone. Yes. I have a tile called Happy Memories, and I have pictures of places either I have been or I would like to go. You see these memes right now, especially while we're quarantined. Hey, tell me one place you would rather be right now. Well, they're doing that because that's where they would rather be. They're distracting themselves, okay? So you can put it on your phone even. So if you go to a restaurant or you go somewhere and you're just like, I'm anxious or I don't feel like being here, whatever it may be, whatever you are feeling at that time, just like pull your phone out and just take a good 30 seconds to a minute to just relive that memory or relive what it would be like to be in Bora Bora. That's where I'd like to go. And just think about laying on the beach or laying in a hammock and you're overlooking the blue ocean and you can smell the salt from the salt water and whatever you want it to be. You have a nice drink in your hand. Yeah, I know I'm like going on and on, right? You can picture being there, can't you? So you're now getting yourself in a calm state. You can picture being there. So that's what it's designed for. Again, you don't have to stay in it for very long. Just kind of zone out for a minute. Think about it. Get into those happy feels. We talked about the happy chemicals, all the endorphins, dopamine, serotonin, the whole 9 yards. And then kind of just pull yourself back to reality again. Okay?
Yep.
You're just trying to give yourself a present place to be or a happy place to be. Okay? Your mind doesn't know the difference. My mind, if I'm viewing it, doesn't know the difference if I'm in Bora Bora or not. My prefrontal cortex knows. My subconscious does not know, right?
Right.
So do that. Just take the time to do that. Again, it can be done anywhere. So, and you can do it quietly. It doesn't have to be, hey, I'm announcing this. You can just do it quietly. People do it while they're in business meetings. You see people zone out all the time, right? I've been in business meetings. I've done that.
Well, and you guys have seen professional, there's an NFL football player that actually uses diffracting tools before he goes out on the field. And I've seen him on the news and whatnot, and they've asked him what he's doing, and he's just doing a distract tool. So, and
most of them do. They get into that game day mindset, right? They can visualize how the game's going to go. They can visualize them winning. It's not any different than a marathon trainer training for a race, right? You visualize that stuff and you diffract yourself. Okay, there's nothing that Lewis Hamilton, one of my favorite Formula One racers, he has an assistant the 2 days, 3 days prior to a race that takes care of everything for him. Everything. So he doesn't have to do anything but focus on the race and get himself mentally prepared for that.
Sure.
Right. So there's no outside extraneous circumstances. She takes care of everything, and that's what she gets paid to do.
Right.
So there's professional people that are doing this. They just don't announce it, right? So there's a lot of people that are doing these things. Michael Jordan did the same thing, Kobe Bryant did the same thing. I mean, look at the books that Kobe's come out with. He created the Mamba mentality.
Yes.
So there's a lot of things that you can do to hone in on that, right?
Right.
So it's not silly to do. I get that question all the time. My daughter even, she's like, oh, I look so stupid doing this stuff. You don't have to announce it to the world. There's a ton of stuff that you can do to just kind of put yourself in that mindset.
Right. Well, and you guys, if you decide to work with a practitioner, they're going to ask you silly intake questions like, what do you do to distract yourself? What kind of movies do you like? What music do you like? What's your favorite color? So if you start putting together your toolkit now, and you don't have to, really honestly, you could go to your practitioner to do the reprogramming work if you choose to, and you can say, here, I already have a toolkit put together. This is what I want to use, right? This is what I want to use for the reprogramming work, because you will need some type of diffracting type tool when you reprogram.
Yeah.
So just get yourself prepared, and on our IG page and Facebook page, we give you lots of stuff to choose from. So you're not going to be you're not going to be on the struggle bus trying to find distracting tools to use.
Exactly.
We gave you a lot of examples. Pick out your favorite music, put it in a list and say, this is the type of music I like. These are the songs that I like to listen to. Famous quotes from a movie, or, funny brain games that you do on your phone or whatnot that you can share with the practitioner that you like to use. That's what I know I did. I'm sure Tiffany did the same thing. So,
and I still use them. I mean, I had a session last night, and one of the first questions that she asked was, give me some happy memories. I'm like, okay. And I just rattled them all off. It's easier when you're prepared. So again, guys, we're preparing you for every aspect. And again, today, maybe I feel a little crummy after having my session. We cleared a lot of memories last night. And today I'm kind of like, I felt stuffy this morning, and I'm like, okay, not a big deal. I just needed a little self-care today. So you know what? I can diffract myself later. It's not a big deal. Maybe I just lay down and just watch a movie for an hour and just kind of zone out a little bit, okay? It's self-care, and it's self-care things that you need to do. And regardless if you're doing this work or not, it's still healthy things to do.
Absolutely.
Okay? Especially our healthcare workers right now, my counterparts that are out in the field, on the front lines as nurses and as doctors. This is a good time to have a lot of those tools built up, because maybe you sneak to the bathroom for a minute in between patients. I know that's very difficult to do. I know as a nurse, I only got to do that maybe a couple times a shift. But maybe you just take that moment and just go sit in the bathroom for a minute and just kind of think of a happy place to get yourself back to center. Okay. Very critical right now.
Or even I let go of all this, tension or whatever that I'm feeling right now. I let it go. It's safe to let it go. You kind of do some diffracting techniques like faster EFT or EFT if you've got that time. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And it can be done on the fly. And the other thing is you don't even have to physically tap. You can actually mental tap. So if you physically feel your fingertips, then you can actually move your eyes and think of tapping. You don't even have to physically do it.
Yep.
So, which is cool because you're still diffracting yourself. So it's called mental tapping. So there's plenty of things out there, guys, to do. We're just giving you as much as we can. Find your own what works for you, but use it. Okay.
Yes.
Don't just have it sitting in the toolbox, sitting off to the side and you don't ever use it. Use those things. So pick things that you will use.
Yes, absolutely. And then the other thing is, if you're on the struggle bus of trying to find core happy memories, we give you several examples on how to bubble map that out, right? Because a lot of people like myself and Tiffany, we were blocked. We couldn't think of last week. Nothing in our lives were going well. You can't even think about a happy memory, right? This technique that we provide for you guys, and we give you guys plenty of examples, is very easy to find. You can start using your senses, and start mapping it out. And then you'll find 10 happy memories.
Yep.
And it makes it a lot easier for you versus you just sitting there staring off in space, trying to find those, when you were 11 years old or 12 or 15 or whatever, happy memories and the details behind it. It's
right, because it is difficult, but you're also asking your subconscious to you're giving it a prompt.
Yes.
You're giving it something to do. So if you're sitting there and saying, hey, I know I've been happy before.
Right.
Okay. When do I remember being happy?
Right.
Okay. It may not come to you right at that minute. Maybe it comes to you in a dream. Maybe it comes to you the next day and it says, hey, here's all the times you were happy.
Right.
Write that down. It doesn't have to be some big, huge balloon celebration. No. It could be your husband showed up with flowers.
Yes. Perfect example. I remember sitting in the shower and my husband went and bought this random body wash thing. And I'm like, what the hell is this? So I smell it. I love to smell everything. I'm a smeller. All right. And I started smelling it, and immediately it smelled like those lip smacker grape lip smackers. And I immediately just sat there and I was starting to remember when my mom and dad bought me, they'd go on trips and they'd bring back little gifts. Obviously they probably picked them up at the 5 and Dime or Walmart when they're
always bring home tchotchkes.
Yeah, wherever. Yeah, exactly. And but it was a warm I would get so excited about it that I could recall her handing me a packet of lip smacker chapstick, and I would just sit there and smell it. The bubblegum flavors, the grape, but it smelled like the shampoo that my husband had bought. Yep. So, just tap into some of those senses, right? Utilize your nose, your hearing, your touch, and like touching. I remember touching, I had a blankie when I was a kid, and it's way gone. It's like dust in the garbage dump. But I remember the way it touched. I could touch it between my fingers, and there was something that I touched a while back, and I was like, oh, this reminds me of my blankie. Yeah.
So you remember those things.
Senses.
Yeah, you utilize those things. Yeah, the more you remember happy memories, the more the memories will come out of nowhere. Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
It's now because your subconscious is saying, hey, it's safe to go ahead and release. Okay.
Yes.
It's safe for us to give that information, right? So your brain will only give you, because remember, you're taking in billions and billions of things every single day. Everything you do is sorted through the subconscious, right?
Right.
So as you are going through and actually sitting there and kind of doing this work and pulling out the traumatic stuff, the happy stuff can now come through. Because remember, it's not safe to feel happy. You've been in this traumatic state and your body is like, hey, I love this. Even though you're prefrontally, consciously saying, no, I don't, no, I don't. Your subconscious is saying, oh, yes, you do. Yes, you do. And so as you start doing this stuff and pulling yourself out of it, you start to see that happy stuff come through. And it's like small snippets. But as you see it, write it down, video record it, whatever you need to do to remember it, just write down whatever you can, because that's your brain saying, hey, this is safe to go ahead and release this now.
Yep, absolutely.
And it's huge, because as you start remembering those things, and it's craving those things.
Especially if you're in a state of chronic, a conditioned stress response, right? And it's chronic. Once you dust the dust off of that programming in the back of your brain or wherever it is, and you start accessing those happy memories, it's like, oh, I want more of that. That's, that makes me feel good, right? Yeah. So, okay, and then we're gonna transition. So now we understand that our diffract is a distract, right? So we have our diffracting toolkit. Now we need to start shifting, right? We're gonna start working towards the shifting process. You kind of need to start being aware, okay? You're becoming more aware of why you're doing this work. Why are you doing this work? So we talked a little bit about law of attraction or intention statements, okay? So these are very, very important for your visualizations. And we're going to talk a little bit about visualizations. Do we have enough time, honey?
Yep, we got time.
Okay. So one thing we did is we talked about what is your intentions for doing this work. You just didn't decide to do this, wake up one day and go, oh, I want to do this work. Because it is a lot of work. I mean, you got to put some effort towards it. And what are you trying to accomplish out of this? So let's say you're dealing with the coronavirus fears, right? And we gave you an example, and we see this with a lot of people that, send us information or, reach out to Tiffany or I about, what I don't want, what I do want. So the law of attraction is what you go towards, what you do want or what you don't want, right? Like, right? That's what law of attraction is.
Right.
If you're constantly perpetuating, I don't want to be in pain, I don't want to have a headache, I don't want this effing stress, right? You're going to continue to be in alignment with that stress, right?
Because if you're not changing it, you're telling your body you love it.
Exactly.
That's what people don't understand and that's what we mean, like what you focus on grows. Well, it does, because if you're not changing it, you're telling your body you love that.
Yes.
So it's the exact opposite of you want. If I say, I don't want to be in pain anymore, but I don't make changes to mitigate that, right, I'm telling my body, hey, I love being in pain. Give me more of it. This is what feels good. Does that make sense? So I want to explain that, because a lot of people don't understand. When you focus on grows, people don't understand what that concept means. No. And it just really means that you are telling your body, hey, give me more, because I'm staying stuck, and this is what I'm choosing to focus on.
And this makes me feel safe in a weird way. I mean, it's almost backwards.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
Like, how can pain make me feel safe? Well, if you haven't moved away from it, if all you know is pain, that's your safety net, right? So if you say, I don't want pain, your intentions, with this work is, I don't want pain, well, you're still going to stay stuck in pain, because your that's where it's safe. That's where it feels safe. And that's where it's in alignment with. Yep. So it's important for the wording, guys. And we gave you guys examples of how to not word the wrong example, the wrong way of wording your intention statement or your law of attraction statement, and the right way. And I'm going to tell you the right way. So if you're dealing with coronavirus fears, I call it the Rona fears. Okay. And it's not to be joking about it, but if you are dealing with that, and if you are starting this process or getting into the awareness state of your fears surrounding it, you need to create an intention statement about your fears around the coronavirus. So I'll give you guys a quick example, and you can find this example on Instagram and Facebook. My intention for doing this work is, I'm excited to find the root cause of my fears around the coronavirus. I know that I will find peace and comfort in knowing that I can control my stress response and create boundaries for fears, as well as create comfort and security in my day. All right. The second you flip from I don't want to this is what I want, your body's going to shift. It's going to shift in that direction, right? I want to find boundaries. I want to find comfort. I want to find the root of my fears, because your fears around the coronavirus just didn't happen. All right. You learned fear and virus and everything a long time ago, right? Mm-hmm. And so it's all rooted in your past. So to get to that, it's very exciting to find that, because then you can start neutralizing that fear, right? And shift it to higher level thinking. So your intention statement is really key, guys, because it actually goes straight into your visualization.
Yeah, because you want to make sure that you're setting yourself up. You're setting that up to already be there. So
yes,
my body is safe. My body is calm. My body is this. It's that this is type statement.
Yes.
Because you are putting yourself in that position. So instead of saying, I don't want pain, my body moves freely. My body does this. My joints move and they feel great. My body feels great when it moves.
Right.
We're moving away from the definition of pain. You can put that however you want to, but it needs to be, this is what my body is doing. We don't want any negative connotation in there whatsoever. Because as soon as you do, you're telling your body you don't have that.
And this is an example of a wrong way of doing it, just as Tiffany's talking about it, so that way you know, okay? So what Tiffany said, I will be in control, I will overcome, what was the other statement you said?
I don't remember.
Okay, sorry. Okay, so
it came to me at that moment.
Doing it the wrong way, because this is going to set up your visualization, right? And a wrong way of doing it is, and this is regards to food sensitivities. I want to get rid of these food sensitivities that restricts me from everyday living. I want to stop having reactions to foods that I used to enjoy eating with my family. That's an example of I don't want. I want to get rid of. We don't want that, guys. The direction that we want to go in is, I want to understand and understand the connection in my subconscious processing to foods and food beliefs. I'm confident that I'll find the answer, and then I can overturn those beliefs, and I will enjoy all things that nourish and feed my soul. We don't want the previous statement. We want more of an empowering statement, an intention that's going to get you in a line with your end goal, which leads you to your visualization. All right. So once we create our intention statements, right, we want to start creating visualizations. And we talked a little bit about how to go about, people are always on the struggle bus with visualizations. They're hard as hell to create personally. I know I was on the struggle bus. Tiffany was on the struggle bus with creating visualizations, but we tried to make it easy on you guys to create your own personalized visualization. Now remember, your visualization has to be from your perspective, okay? Yeah. That's the most important thing. It's not from Aunt May's perspective or grandma's perspective or your kid's perspective. It's from your perspective, what you want, what you see yourself doing. And so what we do with our visualizations, we look at models. So there's two different types of visualizations, and we use a model. And we posted this, I just posted it like 2 days ago. And we're looking at, what do you want? What's your intention, and what's your outcome? Do you want to start a process? Like, do you want to start losing weight, or do you want to lose 10 pounds? Your goal is, I'm going to lose 10 pounds, or the process is, I want to start cutting out carbs in my diet, okay? There are two different types of models. So you've got your goal, which is your end goal, right? I'm a marathon runner. I want to complete a marathon race, right? That's my end goal. So that's the outcome. Then you have the process. I want to start running again, all right? So what we like to do for that is to create your visualization based on those two models. What do you want for your end goal? Process, start a process, or actually complete something, your end goal, all right? Your outcome. Then what we do is we create the content, because you want to create content. And how we do that is we use 3 sensory techniques, all right? The first one is emotional intensity. So emotional intensity is we use our higher level thinking. What do we want? And we put the feels in it. That's going to make me feel excited. I can see the victory line. I can feel my body revved up, hearing the crowd on the side, and I can hear them cheering my name. I'm so excited. You use emotional intensity. So you create that content, right, based on emotions. You can use 1 or 3 of these sensory techniques, okay? So you've got emotional intensity, you got picture and describe. I gave you guys an example. If you're dealing with food sensitivities and you haven't eaten a piece of chocolate cake in years, all right? And you really want to eat that piece of chocolate cake, you have to picture it and describe it, all right? So we see it in our mind. We see the rich, decadent, frosting that's just, over the side of the cake, and it just looks so yummy and scrumptious. And I put the frosting to my mouth, and I can taste, and it's a burst of sugar in my mouth. Add sensory type picture and describe words. All right, this is going back to we're writing essays here, guys. And then the last one is exposure or educate. So let's say your outcome is I want to be a scuba diver. All right, you just don't wake up one day and go scuba diving. You probably spend some time, maybe buying some of the equipment for scuba diving. You watch Jacques Cousteau on the Discovery Channel and watch his YouTube videos. Watch how he gets ready. You educate yourself. Do some exposure work. Same thing with food belief issues. You buy the melon that you want to eat. You touch it. You put it in your hand. You get some exposure to then put that information into your visualization. We're building content, guys. And that's how you create a visualization. And we are hoping down the road that we can help you guys. And we're going to create a visualization workshop. That's down the road, and we'll keep you abreast of that. But this stuff is really important to get to the shifting work. Visualizations are key for shifting.
Right. And you can also do simple visualizations too. You can still use the bubble map to do simple visualization. So if you can't come up with a process or you can't do that right now, you can still bubble map. Again, put what you want to do in that center core, okay? And then use all 5 senses to start building that visualization. So if your visualization is you want to go to a fancy restaurant, then use all of your senses. You want to get dressed up, okay? So you can touch your dress or your suit, the foods that you're gonna eat, okay? You can hear the music playing, like, you go to Olive Garden and you can hear the Italian music over there. How many times have you been to an Italian restaurant and you feel like you're sitting in a gondola somewhere, eating, or you're sitting out on the patio? It gives a different experience. So you're out in the sunlight, you're sitting out on the patio, and you're sitting along the creek that you can hear. You feel like you're in another world, right? So they give you a different experience. That's what you're doing in your visuals, is giving yourself a different experience, and you're building that up. So you can do a simple visualization. If you can't think of one right away, just bubble map it out, and then put your bubbles in order. And that's how you're going to record it, or that's how you're going to start to go through it. So whether it's written or recorded, it's already set up for you. Just put your bubbles in order, and that's how you do it. So it's already done for you. And I gave an example of that on IG too. Of visualization of, like, I think it was Cracker Barrel. That, you were going to go on a trip and Cracker Barrel was going to be a place that you saw. And then I just expanded upon that. So that would have been, one of the parts of my visual, is I would have just read that off. The next part of the visuals, and we talk about that, is if you're going to audio do that, make sure you have intonation in there. Make sure you have pauses in there, because you want to, as you're going through this, I visualize the chocolate cake, and I can see the frosting, and I can see my birthday candle sitting on top. I'm 7 years old, and I remember my mom lighting the candle and all these presents and everybody singing happy birthday to me. Pause.
Yes.
Okay. Let your mind catch up with that visual, and it's okay if you put a pause in there, okay, because you're just letting your mind catch up for a minute. And then you go back into, I just blew out my birthday candle, and my mom took my cake, and everybody's screaming and excited, and they've got the kazoos out, and you can hear everything. And then pause again.
Yep.
And then go back to, I'm opening my presents. I get to see all of this stuff. And as you pause, you're giving your subconscious time to catch up with that visual.
Right.
Okay. It's important. Change the tone of your voice. Just like, I'm teaching my 6-year-old how to write excitement into a story. And it's like, hey, quotation marks or exclamation points, put that in there and change the tone of your voice. Just like exactly. Yeah. Just like you're reading a book to a child. You want to have that excitement in there. And so that's how you want that intonation to change. You can use, you can play some music in the background. Okay.
Right.
You can have just some light music that you would listen to like in a massage parlor, like if you're getting a massage, you know, that calming music, running water, anything.
And if you're doing that audio, I mean, there's so many different tools that you can use. So Apple has voice memo. I use voice memo quite a bit. We also posted a app that you can download and Stimulate. I think it's Stimulate Mind. I want to give a quick example. If you're going to do it on paper, I know Tiffany likes to write hers out and then read it and take some time to highlight, you know, emotion words, cue words. She gave an example on March 15th on Instagram and talking about the coronavirus. So we gave, you know, that in the higher level thinking on how to overcome your fears around the coronavirus. So our intention is, okay, we want more calm in our life. So that the process model, and you probably can't see it, but is I'm calm and I'm able to manage and I can stay safe and healthy. So what Tiffany did was she started to bubble map out all of the senses. So like, for example, smell, what can she do to cultivate calm and comfort and feeling safe? She said, smell. I can smell warm candles burning to create a calm atmosphere. She added emotional intensity to it. This makes me feel cozy and lets me think of old comforting memories at grandma's house. So you can sit and think of the smells and visualize yourself at grandma's house. Sound, to help cultivate what her process goal is, which is calm, staying safe, feeling healthy, being able to manage. Sound, I can play soft music or the sound of feel-good comedies and shows that I choose to watch. I'm in control of what I choose to read, watch, and hear, all right? That kind of brings in the emotional intensity, and you can visualize yourself watching things and feeling calm, sitting on the couch. I'll just do one more. So like taste or touch. Taste, I can bake and make some healthy, tasty treats. So I know that I'm making healthy choices for myself. And I'm creating delicious rewards. So you want to reward yourself for doing that, right? And staying calm and healthy. And we'll talk about celebration on the shift side. But these are important things, guys. When you create your visualization, you want to get the feels. You want to charge up that emotional intensity. You want to get your brain to picture it, create a simulation, all right? Like as if you're really experiencing it. That's what visualizations are doing. If you're not able to go and experience it, you want to create that experience as real as it can be in your mind. It's called a simulation.
Right. So and speaking of that too, Julie, right now, you know, there's a lot of free museums that offer simulation stuff right now. Disney is offering a ride experience. So you're basically getting online and pretending that you're in this roller coaster. Why do they do that? Because they want to transform you into something else. So, yeah, I mean, it's all these processes to get you to kind of visualize something else, right? Yes. So you can do that however you choose to. But, you know, a lot of these companies right now, because we are quarantined, are trying to transport you somewhere else. Maybe it's an African zoo that you're at, and you can see all these wild animals. You know, that's what virtual reality does, right? What does virtual reality do? It takes away some of your senses, so then you feel like you're really there. Right. There's so many things that you can do, but visualizations are so important, right? Absolutely. Yes. Whether you, again, talk them out, you audio them out, whatever you do, and you want to start replaying those, okay? You definitely want to start going through that stuff. We've got about 10 minutes, so we can open it up. Yeah, we've got about 10 minutes. Please remember, we have all of this process on our IG. Our Facebook page now has all of our videos at the top, so you don't have to scroll through. You can actually get them right at the top. We have this on YouTube, so all the videos are in order. So if you're just starting this process, you can actually go right back from the very first, watch all of our videos. And then next week, we've got Mark Shahada on. So that's going to be April 9th, again, 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. So that's going to be huge. You do not want to miss this one, okay? This is going to be huge. Mark is phenomenal. He's a level 4 practitioner. So he's been doing it for quite some time. Again, so he's going to be on next week. We are so excited to have this. But we're also, on the flip side, he's going to be on Thursday. And then on Friday, I think we're going to start the shift work.
We're starting the shift work, guys. Yay! We're going to get guys into the awareness phase all over again on recognizing your daily habits or behaviors, consciously, and I call it unconscious or subconsciously. There are things you guys are going to be like, woo, I didn't realize I was doing that. And we're going to make you catalog it all out, guys. Get ready for some fun. Just like the journaling, the awareness workshop, and the awareness state that we got you guys in, we're going to do a very similar technique for behaviors. Because we want to not only shift our thinking, but if you're doing behaviors that are not in alignment with your thinking, you're kind of spinning your wheels a little bit here, guys. You're not making monumental shifts. And that's what we want to do.
It could be anything from, you know,
get you in alignment with your behaviors.
Yeah, it could be anything, guys. It could be you want to clean your house, but you don't know how. You're like, I don't even know where to start. You want to organize your basement right now because you're at home. You're like, I don't even know where to start. Your kids' rooms. You want to clean your kids' rooms, right? Just, we're teaching you things of how to change those habits, right? So we have to now pivot to make those behavior modifications. That includes dealing with your spouse, dealing with your kids. Let's just face it, having sex again in your marriage, whatever it may be.
Yes.
Yes.
Mine is the simplest thing, guys. Yeah, mine is the simple. I'm going to give a simple example of how getting into that awareness state, and Tiffany knows about this. I pick my fingernails. When do I pick my fingernails, and what's going on in the wheelhouse of my brain? And I noticed when I started getting into the awareness state of behaviors, I would pick my fingernails in the morning because I start going through the to-do list of the day. And I'm like, I bitch about my fingernails all the time and say, oh, I'm so embarrassed going to the nail salon because they're going to laugh about how bad my nails look. So my end goal is to one day walk into a nail salon because my nails are all primed and ready to go and not picked. So I started recognizing my behavior that was associated with my thinking around picking my fingernails and picking my nails, all right? And I started making adjustments. Now, they're not wonderful, but they are getting better. Baby steps, all right? So it's just the simplest things that you're not even really conscious. I consciously was not aware of me picking my nails and when I was doing it. And it was totally in alignment with what's happening in my brain, all right? So these are little baby changes that we have to start making. And my end game is to go to a nail salon so someday I can go, hey guys, look at my nails. Look how awesome they look.
Mine was to not bite mine. So yeah, I noticed when. So now instead of biting my nails, I anchor it to putting lotion on my hands. So every time I want to bite my hands, bite my nails, I move to putting lotion on my hands. So I wash my hands. I do something completely different with my hands. I shouldn't be biting my nails right now anyway. So I wanted to shift that behavior. I wanted to shift that habit. So I had to find something else to anchor it to. So we're going to talk about these things in the shift work because this is the next critical piece to getting back to whatever it is that you want to do, whether that's public speaking, whether that's flying on an airplane, whether that's taking a vacation with your family and having enough money and being calm and relaxed, driving again, getting out of bed and walking a block down the street. What does that look like?
Eating the foods that you want to eat. I mean, there's a lot of those people out there that are down to 1 or 2 food groups or 1 or 2 foods. This is
or changing your career, you know, changing your career. What does that look like? Is that overwhelming to you? You know, well, let's make a list of the things that if you could wave a magic wand, what would you want to do? And let's narrow that focus down. So this is going to be the next critical step to a full process again. And we're going to marry the two together. So this is huge because nobody else has this. Okay.
No. They're usually separate entities, guys, and they're not thinking that the behavior is impacted by the thinking and the thinking impacts the behavior. So you have to marry 2 processes together in order to get a complete package. And Tiffany and I are working on workshops. So you guys, we're going to be able to teach you on more of an individualized level. We like to make them intimate and we like to make them impactful. So we're going to get to that piece. We're starting with the awareness state, going into the awakening state, going into the reprogramming state, and then reconditioning. And reconditioning is basically shifting and changing your behaviors to get in line with the thinking.
This is huge, lifelong changes, guys. This is not just one and done.
Yeah, and then once you learn the process, you could honestly do this for any facet of your life. You want to help your kids change their nasty behaviors that they do? I'm working on that now, and I'm sure Tiffany is too. You know, they're so easy to kind of, but you have to kind of be aware of what their behaviors are and why it's driving you nuts, right? So you can make these little shifts and do these little tiny changes to eventually you're not so frustrated with them. And
Right.
it's really important, valuable piece of information for all of us moms or dads staying at home, caregivers staying at home with our kids, and we're not used to their whole day behavior, right? And we're like, my God,
You're going to learn today.
Yes.
So we have just a couple minutes.
Yeah.
If we just have like 3 or 4 minutes. So if there's any additional questions, stop negative. Now, stop watching all the negative and adrenaline producing shows. Right now, that is okay. Okay. But the second component to that I want to stress is that you have to deal with the reason why you can't watch those shows, because they're too close to you. Okay. So you have to be able to watch something and have a neutral reaction to it. Okay. You have to understand it is a TV show. Okay.
Right.
If you are watching it and you have a reaction to it, then it's too close to you. Those are memories that you need to work on. So if there is something that you're watching, whether it's the news, whether it's, the show ER, whatever it may be, write out why. Okay.
Yeah.
Start exploring that, because there's negative emotions and there's memories attached to that. You
Get
don't
the
want to
awareness
put yourself, get yourself in that awareness state. You don't want to keep avoiding. Okay.
Right.
It's okay to shut it off and shut it off for a little while. But when you start avoiding, your world becomes smaller, because then you start avoiding more and more and more. Okay.
Right.
To the point where you don't watch TV at all. And then that comes over to radio. And then that comes over to, it just kind of snowballs. So again, your world
your
becomes
body's
smaller.
staying in line with that safety net, right? Oh, well, we can't watch this television program. Well, we can't watch the next television program. Well, now we can't watch TV. Oh, now I hear commercial ads that are connected to all the things that make me feel fearful. You're, like Tiffany said, everything just kind of narrows down this small, tiny path that you're walking along. We don't want that.
So right now, it's okay to just shut it off for a little while, but just shut it off just because you want to do something else. Don't do it because you're fearful of it. And that you get that adrenaline type stuff. Okay. I want you to reframe that. I want you to reframe that. Okay.
Yes.
And reframing that looks like, I'm just going to shut it off because I have something else I want to do instead. Not because I'm fearful of it. Not because I'm sick of looking at this. So I want you to start reframing that stuff. Okay. And then I want you to start the awareness phase of looking at that, because we don't want you fearful of that. We want you to be able to watch it and say, you know what, that doesn't apply to me anymore. Yeah. And just move on. So, we actually have like 1 minute, so I don't know if there's any additional questions, but again, guys, go ahead, Julie.
I think we've got everything, but I want to just remind you guys, this is playing for about 24 hours on IG. So up in the corner, you click the button, go to the right-hand corner. You can find our live replay for 24 hours. After that, we'll upload it to Facebook group, page, YouTube, so you can access all the information over again. Please share, you guys. We really appreciate it. And then Mark's on next week, so please, please, please get on with us then. And our journaling workshop is this weekend. We cannot wait to see you guys. We cannot wait. So have all of your stuff ready to go, because we're going to be rocking and rolling.
Yes, we are. And then, so next Thursday is Mark, next Friday is us. So we all have two lives next week. So keep that in mind.
And for
again,
moms and dads, Tammy Magnuson's coming on right after that. We're starting the shift work, and then Tammy's coming on, and she's got a lot of good stuff to share to help you guys through this phase of you're dealing with kids at home. So, yeah, good stuff, guys.
All right. Well, thank you. If there's nothing else, you guys know how to reach out to Julie and I if there's any questions, concerns. But otherwise, I hope you guys have a blessed weekend, and we will see you guys soon next week.
Thank you.